All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. It is 7:06 and the regular session for mayor and council for October 7th is called to order. Bishop Fortson, you're doing the invocation? Okay, tonight's invocation will be done by Bishop Fortson of Paradise Church. All those who are able to stand, please do so and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I just want to add, since Dr. Beeler blessed the Falcons last time, we've been on fire. So you want to sprinkle some of that love?
Make sure you pray for the Falcons. Madam Mayor, may I have just 1 minute of personal privilege? I just want to thank you and Councilor Well and the entire council for the wonderful honor that was bestowed upon me. And we will be unveiling the sign this Sunday at 1 p.m. and everyone is invited. So I want to thank you personally. And also one of our young ministers will pray tonight in my stead. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Those of you who know the word in prayer, please bow your head. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this gathering of these great minds. God, we ask that you send your spirit through this place right now. Bless our great mayor. Bless all of these powerful members of council, county managers that you have placed, God. We know it was nobody but you that placed them in these seats. Now, God, we ask that you give them divine power to give hope to the hopeless, to give motivation to those who are seeking change right now. God, in a time where we need you the most, God, we ask that you send a divine spirit through the city of Forest Park like never before. And God, as you bless Forest Park, we ask that you send a special anointing on our Atlanta Falcons this weekend as they play the Carolina Panthers. God, we know that if we speak it, then it must happen. And we consider it done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Yes, I know. Let's see, roll call, Ms. Rainey, please.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor
Good
Butler,
evening.
council members, and city manager, Mr. Clark. This is the roll call for the regular session of October 7th, 2024. Councilmember James. Present. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Present.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Here.
Councilmember Mears. Mayor Butler, you have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, the adoption of tonight's consent agenda. Councilwoman James, are the same items that we discussed in the work session? Would you want those removed once again?
I believe we can put them on the consent agenda and vote on them, and then make the necessary. That's right. So I make
Is
a
that
motion.
understood, or do we have to
You have to
include that in the
add them
motion?
back to the consent agenda,
Oh.
since they were removed previously.
Okay, so we'll do it at the end.
That's fine, whatever.
Yes. Okay, is there a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda with the deletion of, well, adding that to the regular, to new business, items 11, 13, and 19?
So move.
That's Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That's Councilman Gutierrez. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would just say in the consent agenda, those items that don't include the description, that does not include the budgeted line items, to that be included in the description.
You know that Councilwoman James.
Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The adoption of tonight's agenda with the addition of the 3 items that were removed from the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve such?
So moved.
That's Councilman Mears. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Gutierrez. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey? Oh,
Sorry.
wait, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Were the 2 items that you added, were they already on this agenda?
No, the 3.
No. I
Oh,
mean
oh,
the-
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, and the 2 emergency add-on items. Thank you. As well. So, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. The minutes from our special called meeting on September 16th and our work session and regular meeting minutes from September 16th and our special called meeting from September 25th. Has all have the opportunity to review said minutes? And are there any changes to be recommended?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion that we approve all 3 minutes. There were some minor changes that I already given to the city clerk. So I make a motion that we would approve it with those minor changes.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Public comments, Ms. Rainey, the disclaimer, please.
Good evening. Per the section 2-1-7, Rules of Procedure and Decorum. Comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes per speaker. 21 minutes are allowed in total. Members of the public are not allowed to participate in any debate or discussion conducted by the governing body members. All public comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or over which the governing body has jurisdiction. Each speaker must maintain a decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon members of the governing body or employees, shouting and using obscene language. All questions and comments shall be directed to the presiding officer, and members of the governing body may respond to the comments during their closing comments if they desire.
Thank you very much. And let's see, we have a total of 4, and we will begin with Ms. Carolyn Franklin.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. No,
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
a little better.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This is especially to Ms. Pauline
Walker.
Walker. I want to report to you all about my work completion. I am very, very happy. My home looks beautiful. Mr. Fuller was my contractor, and beautiful young man, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful personality, beautiful work ethic. I have nothing but good remarks for him and good complaints. And you all need to see my home. You really do. I had my floors done, and I had 2 new doors, a back door and front door done. And it just really makes my home look larger, looks complete, looks modern, just looks good. So I just wanted to thank you all, and especially them for bearing with me, because I was a pain in the rear end trying to get these contractors, and they were very patient. So I just wanted to report to you all and let you know.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Mr. Carl Evans.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and I want to just give some extra kudos. I've already called the station, but Officer Groves is doing an amazing job. She's going above and beyond to help people. When I mentioned to her that I had some puppies I needed to get rid of, she went and immediately twisted the arm of one of our officers and brought him back out there to get one of them. And I had another one that she had made arrangements with a lady to come by and look at and everything for me. And unbeknownst to me, that the day that she had the appointment set up for was her off day, and she was going to give up her personal time to come out there and do it. Unfortunately, her landlord also planned that day to have some work done and didn't tell her about it until the last minute. So that didn't work out. But not everybody will give up their own personal time to come out and help somebody. And she also put me in touch with a rescue group that they don't take in animals, but they help you with the finances, as far as the medical care and food and things like that until we can get them all adopted out. But, in all the years and all the, um, animal control officers I've dealt with, none of them have ever gone out of their way to help people. It's always been, just issue citations as soon as they could to, for any infraction. But she doesn't want to do that. She wants to help people. And I've already, like I said, I've already spoken to the department and everything. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And also make sure that y'all go out of your way to thank my buddy for all the years that he sat here and served our great city as he retires tomorrow. Bobby Jinks definitely deserves a round of applause and the best this city has to offer him. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ibanez.
Mayor and Council,
Good
and
evening.
everybody, thank you. Good evening. It's been calling my attention that not too many people can come to the meetings, to the council meetings, and I would like to see we can participate by text up to the 3 or 4 or 5 participants by text, and if they allow us to participate in the council meetings. And also, please don't erase the comments that they put them in the, it has been made it on. Also, I've been asking for the lines on the bicycles, and I have nobody get with me about that. I've been taking some videos for a long time, and it's because we don't have a clarity when they are reproduced in the internet. So I would like to keep taking my videos and my notes. So pretty much that's it.
All right, thank you. And Elder Cook.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. I bring you greetings from the Forest Park Ministers Association. We'll be celebrating, wanting to invite you all out to our 4th annual Living Legends Banquet. It's not only just for the City Council here, but anybody in the community. We'll be celebrating just legends here in the community. We'll be honoring somebody from the community service group, our educational group, our public and elected officials, our faith community, and our business community. We'll be hosting this event at the illustrious Paradise Church Gym at Bishop Portson Drive down there, and right there at the edge of off of Hendricks, where Hendricks used to be, where Bishop Portson Drive will be soon. Hey man, tickets are $75. It's going to be Saturday, October 26th at 6 p.m. So if you like any more details, we do have flyers online on social media. Also, you can get myself or Bishop Portson or any of the Forest Park ministers. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. City Manager's report.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor and Council. We'll keep it brief tonight. Just one thing, the most important action of the night. We would like to officially thank Director Bobby Jinks. I'd ask him to please stand. We'd like to thank Mr. Jinks for 30+ years of tireless service to this community. He has led not only with dignity and transparency, he has ensured that north of 20,000 residents that call this amazing place home had all of the things they needed to ensure that we were the greatest place to live, work, and play. His work does not go unnoticed, from the streets of Forest Park all the way down to the amazing bodies of water that this city holds. Mr. Jinks has done a job well done, and we are excited to see him go off into the future and be a great father and grandfather. We'll celebrate him on this Friday at 12 o'clock. I guess I just invited the world. But you need to RSVP. But we'll celebrate him this Friday at 12 o'clock. And as we've shared with Mr. Jinks, This is not a formal goodbye. This is just see you later. And when he comes back to see us, he will not have on a Forest Park shirt, but he'll always wear Forest Park on his heart. So Mr. Jenks, thank you for all that you've done for this community. Butler, we kept the city manager's report short just in case Mr. Jenks wanted to address this community for one last time.
Mr. Jinks, is there anything you would like to say? Nothing? Okay, okay. Recognition of Ward 4 Yard of the Quarter, background and history. The Yard of the Quarter program promotes goodwill and recognizes the supports of the City of Forest Park Ward 4 residents who demonstrate exemplary efforts in maintaining their homes and yards to enhance the overall appearance of the community. This month, the award is being presented to the residents on Sirocco Court.
Sirocco. I make a motion that we table that. They were unable to attend due to a family emergency. So I make a motion that we table it until the next meeting.
All right. Is there a second?
A second.
Councilman Gutierrez. Any discussions? Oh, Councilman Mears, I'm so sorry. Ms. Rainey, please.
Councilmember James,
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Akins Wells,
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
All right, our Gen Z program presentation, background and history. Gen Z program presentation. The court recognized that several individuals between the ages of 17 and 25 were present in court. The court sees the need to assist individuals in high school, college, or graduate school who started the Gen Z program. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and the city manager.
Good evening.
Well, I'm gonna get in this Gen Z program. I'm gonna be very quick. I know we're here all night and I don't want to keep you any longer. So we'll just get right into it. This is a brief survey or brief thing about our city. So
You talking to the microphone, please.
oh. Thought I was. Can you hear me now, Mayor?
Better.
Okay, better. This is about the city of Forest Park. So it's a brief description roughly. We're 10 miles out downtown Atlanta. So when you get a chance, you could go online and read about the city of Forest Park. This is our lovely elected officials. And this is our articulate and intellectual city manager, Ricky Clark. Who are Gen Zs? So Gen Z is a world. Actually, Gen Z is the best known. Generation Z is best known as Gen Z or Zoomers. They are born roughly between 1997 and 2012. Gen Zs and the world of technology. So if we notice the Gen Z, they are very smart when it comes on to technology, because they were roughly born during that time where internet is in, smartphones, social media platform like TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. I don't even know what Snapchat is. And our Gen Z often prefer digital over traditional methods of communication. Just an example, is anyone in here, as anyone in their household between the ages of 17 and 25? I'm sure we all do. So this is how they operate. You will be in the same household, you will speak with them, and then they will leave, go to school, and then they're gonna text you a long paragraph of what the discussion was about, how they feel, and so forth. So that's how they actually hide behind their smartphones, because that's what they love. Gen Z on the court. The court recognizes the presence of individuals between the ages of 17 to 25 without legal representation, and that's how the program started. when I started in Forest Park, I noticed that there were a few high schoolers, college or graduate students who come into the court without legal representation. And I said, okay, so we are going to start this program so we can assist them. It's not a lot that comes in, but at least we still needed to assist who comes in between that age, especially our high schoolers, graduate, and our college students. So as again, it said the program targets high school, college, and graduate students. The Gen Z program is an alternative sentencing program. So it reduces the impact of minor offenses on their future. These sentences might include community service, counseling, or educational programs. And this actually helps to avoid a criminal history record for these high schoolers. Community service, as we said, some of the alternative sentencing programs are community service, probation, counseling, and educational programs. So community service is one of the most alternative sentencing that is used, not only here in Forest Park, but I could say statewide or worldwide. It is seen as a win-win situation, and what that means is it also benefits the community while allowing the guilty party to remain free from incarceration. However, community service orders must be followed and should not be taken lightly. Probation is another common sentence to jail time. Probation is meant to the offender, meant the opportunity to prove to the court that they can and will follow the rules and laws without being subjected to incarceration. Counseling. This will also help our Gen Z to build improve their self-esteem. As I said before, mostly they are hidden behind their phone, internet, tablet, and stuff like that. They do not like the traditional style of communication. So counseling will help them actually build their self-esteem where personal issues can be addressed and also overcome. Educational program, drug and alcohol addiction education and treatment. This section is specifically designed to assist offenders with substance abuse disorder. This will help them overcome these issues and take control of their lives and their behavior while we are still holding them accountable for their actions. Participation of Gen Z in the legal process. We actually do not get into this legal process much with the Gen Z because this is like a mock trial. When I say participation in the legal process, this is like a mock trial. So as I said before, we do not have that amount of Gen Z who appear in court for, for us to do this, but this is also a part of the program where they can come in and be the judge, be the prosecutor, be the clerk. So this will actually help them to overcome their issues and take control of their lives and their behavior while still we are holding them accountable, as I said before. So in a nutshell, the Gen Z program is a place to give these students a second chance to improve their lives and overall moral and to improve to society and to prove to society that mistakes are made because we all make mistakes. But most important, they have to learn from their mistakes, and I'm sure we all do. As of August 2024, 64 cases were adjudicated under the program. And this is to stay informed. We are doing a lot of improvement, new things in Forest Park. Please go to these technology, be one of the Gen Z, go and scan these so you can see what's going on in Forest Park. Are there any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Absolutely wonderful. Councilwoman James.
I have no questions, but I do want to say, Miss Dorothy Roper Jacksons, I really appreciate all the work that you have put into this.
Thank
I
you.
know that this separation of the court from the police department was a vision of Judge Freeman for a long, long time. And I think we made a very good decision in making you the court administrator. So thank you so much.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Like, there's a lot of intentionality in your work and noticing these things. This is just going above and beyond, and you recognizing these things. So I really just want to thank you because this is our future. We got to take care of them. And sometimes, people don't understand or don't remember when they were young and how you can make a mistake. So I really appreciate a program like this that can give them that second chance or that alternative. And you describe those Gen Z spot on. Like, that's my daughter, and it's funny. We'll talk and she'll text me dissertations. She'll text me these long texts. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I piggyback off of what Councilman Gutierrez said, as well as Councilwoman James. You are absolutely amazing. You're so cute. Like, you're just so cute. But no, I really want to thank you for coming back and giving something, not just working here, but giving back to the kids of our community because they are young and like we all have, they make mistakes and it shouldn't have to follow them for the rest of their lives. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Councilman Mears.
Yes, ma'am. I thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Item 4, Forest Park's Hometown Hero Certificate presented to, is it Gerard Finch?
Speak a little clearer as the hometown hero. A little louder.
You could do it for him. You want the honors?
No, go ahead. You got it.
Background and history. Councilwoman Akins Wells would like to honor Gerard Finch as the Forest Park's hometown hero for his outstanding services within the community and for being a dedicated employee to the city of Forest Park. Mr. Finch's contributions include assisting with cutting grass for the city's legacy residents, maintaining lawns, coaching sports, volunteering to help with the upkeep of Forest Park High School's baseball field, and one day wishes to become a motivational youth speaker. The City of Forest Park and Councilmember Akins Wells proudly present Mr. Finch with the Forest Park Hometown Hero Certificate.
So, Mr. Finch. Before I come down, I just want to say to you, Mr. Finch, that I appreciate you. The city appreciates you so much. And I say this to Mr. Clark often, that, you don't have to be from the city of Forest Park, but it means a little something more when you're from the city of Forest Park and you come and work and you put the hours in. And I think Mr. Evans stated that you don't have people that give their own time these days. It's hard to get somebody to work and they get paid, but to come out and you help to keep Ward 4 beautiful with no hesitation. He's out there cutting yards and he never wanted to be recognized. He didn't even want the people to know that it was him. But I believe in giving people their flowers while they can still smell them. And so I just want you to know, from a kid from Forest Park, just a kid from Forest Park, to another kid just from Forest Park, I love you and I appreciate everything that you give back to our community. So thank you so much. And Mr. Will and Mr. Coach Josh Williams. And these are two, Josh is my cousin, he's a baseball coach at Forest Park High School. And they all grew up playing baseball together, and they all came back to give back to the community that helped raise them. And so, this is honor. So, Gerard, this is for you. Maybe you can hang it up in the garage or something, or put it in your daddy's yard, out there in the garden. But, yes, I just want to show the people what you give to our community. And this is Gerard, when he gets off of work, I have a program, Keep Ward 4 Beautiful. And Gerard gets off of work and he cuts the legacy resident in our ward and don't ask for nothing. He don't even tell me, or the city when he's going to do it. He just do it. And I just thank you. I thank you so much. Thank you to his mom and dad and his grandfather for raising such a great young man. They can't wait to be back out.
Double check that stuff. Double check. All right, a
Oh,
public,
sorry. We had one more thing, was he showing it? Oh, I'm sorry. And this is for Mr. Finch as well. I'm sorry, Mayor.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Finch.
Is there a motion to recess the regular meeting and enter into the first of two public hearings for tonight?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was Councilman Mears. Any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, is there a motion to open up the first public hearing for the conditional use permit 2024-02 for 4914 West Street to establish a childcare center from infancy to pre-kindergarten within the multiple family residential district?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. What do we do? Any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
All right. So per our charter, 10 minutes is allotted per side on such matters pertaining in a public hearing. So 10 minutes in its totality. For those in favor of this item or against it. So I'm going to ask anyone who is in favor of this conditional use permit, you may line up at the podium now. Not seeing anyone line up. Is there anyone who wanted to speak that is not in favor of this item? You may line up at the podium now. All right, not seeing anyone line up, I'm going to ask for a motion to close said public hearing.
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was Councilman Gutierrez. Any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Thank you. Now, is there a motion to accept the recommendation to approve said conditional use permit?
So move.
No, this one was to approve. The other one was to,
Oh, Madam Mayor.
wait, let me, oh, good question. Yes, ma'am.
The second, public hearing.
Mhm.
Do we need to do the second public hearing before we
Before we vote? No, we don't have to.
gotta reopen?
We're gonna reopen, yeah.
Gotcha.
Hold on. Let me find my notes. This one was to approve it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That was to approve. The other one's to deny. Okay. All right, the motion's on the floor. Ms. Rainey?
Can you please tell me who made the motion, who seconded?
Oh, did we do that? All right, so is there a motion to accept the recommendation to approve said conditional use permit?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was Councilman Gutierrez. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells. Councilmember Mears.
That was three, okay. Is there a motion to open up the second public hearing, which is for a conditional use permit 2024-03 for 1042 and 1044 Main Street to establish, yes, ma'am.
So move.
Okay, that was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that was Councilwoman Wells. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells. Councilmember Mears.
All right, as previously stated, 10 minutes allotted for and against. Anyone who wants to speak in favor of this conditional use permit may line up at the podium now. All right, not seeing anyone. Is there anyone who wanted to speak that is not in favor of this conditional use permit? You may line up at the podium now. All right, not seeing anyone. Is there a motion to close said public hearing?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Sir.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Now, is there a motion to accept the recommendation of denial for said conditional use permit?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was by Councilwoman Wells. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins, Gutierrez.
You want to discuss it? Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
okay, hold on.
Just moving too fast. She can give us time to. I'm like, oh, hey, I wanted to discuss. No, I just, it's kind of like the nail salons and the barbershops and the hair salons. Like, maybe we need to put a pause on some of the daycares. I know the kids need, to be seen after, but we have 100 daycares. And, you know, if the kids go to those daycares that we already have, it could help the businesses that we already have. So, maybe there's something we can look to in the future to maybe put a moratorium out on daycares.
Attorney Mantricardi, does the governing body need an ordinance to enact 120-day moratorium or longer? Or can they do it by voice vote?
They would need an ordinance for a moratorium.
Okay. Does it have to go before planning commission or does it come straight to the governing
Straight
body?
here.
We can work with our planning and community development director and our legal counsel if it's the pleasure of this board to enact a moratorium. We would just need guidance as to how long of a period you would want the moratorium to be in place so that we can look into reviewing any and all ordinances on the book that governs where they're located within our community.
All right.
I think, because it would be hard to put a time frame on it, maybe like depending on if one closes down, then one opens up or something like that. I don't know how you would put a time frame on it. We just have 2 minutes. Could we do something like that?
So the moratorium would be for a certain specified period of time, and
Okay.
then during that time, we would look at the ordinances and determine whether it would be beneficial to impose a sort of number restriction like you're referencing. But Mr. Clark is just talking about the duration, so how long it would actually take us to conduct that review, whether it be 60 days, 120 days.
Oh, okay, got it.
Something along those
Okay, thank you.
So, Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't be in favor of a moratorium. I would only, I would like to see when it's presented, if it's a conditional use that's needed, then I would defer to the location as opposed to not having a daycare center open up.
Yes, ma'am.
Some data, like just some numbers, Mr. Clark, maybe just present to us, like what does that look like? How many do we have? Let's see if it is like something that we have.
We have more daycares than we have homes for our residents. That's how many we have.
So we just need some direction. We can pull the numbers through our system to identify those daycares that are properly licensed, or however, there's always the occasion that individuals are running daycares that we don't know about that are not licensed, but we can pull that data. We can go that direction, or we can act the moratorium. We just need some guidance from the governing body as to what you want to see, or we can just bring back a moratorium and you vote it up or down. But to have guidance, it would save a step for our planning department, to just know which direction this council wanted to move forward. I believe this is the 5th request I've seen since I've been here, maybe. Fourth or fifth.
Councilman Mears?
Yes, ma'am. I think we need a moratorium. We got, several, they need to be in select places and followed up with background and all that. I think we need to come up with a solution to how we're gonna govern it and how many we need, how many we got and all that. So I put that on hold. Be fine with me.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rainey, can you do the vote again, please?
Yes, Councilmember James,
Yes.
To accept the recommendation to deny.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells,
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now is tonight's consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda with the removal of items 11, 13, and 19?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Is there any discussion?
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Uh-huh.
Didn't we already do that?
You approve the actual consent agenda?
Oh, we're, okay. Oh, God.
Yeah, another point of order. Can we just go back to the regular agenda? Because it just really seems like this is more work and the governing body is just getting confused. It's supposed to be easier, but to me, it just seems like it's a little more difficult.
It's definitely a time saver. I will say that.
I haven't seen it. Just haven't seen it. But okay.
Let's get through tonight. So where are
Roll
we?
call. The roll call.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember James,
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Akins Wells,
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So we're gonna go down to new business. Council approval on the consideration of the reenactment of the Forest Park noise ordinance. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So move.
How about if we can clarify that, that's noise and fireworks, correct, Attorney McCarty? I'm sorry.
Noise and fireworks. All right, that was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just make a note that all the resolutions, for Attorney McCarty should remove, Councilman DeBose from all the
Yes, ma'am.
resolutions.
All right.
Roll call. Councilwoman James,
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Council approval on a task order to provide for the design of 3 restroom structures that will serve different areas throughout Star Park. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells. Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Council approval of a resolution to establish a rehire eligibility policy. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was Councilman Gutierrez. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Council approval on the Clayton County Land Bank appointment. Is there a motion to appoint Miss Nicole Dozier to
So
this
move.
board? That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? That was Councilman Gutierrez. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James. Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Thank you. Council approval to purchase 13 vehicles for the police department.
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
I second that with a question.
Wait, hold on 1 second. I think what item did we remove? Oh, that's the trade specialist. Okay. Yes, sir.
Do we have them on one line? They have that on their, budget that we discussed earlier?
Yeah, so you'll recall this item is specific to the financing of these 13 vehicles for the police department. A portion of them are electric, the Mustang Gs, and the remainder of them are just part of their regular fleet. But the difference in this is ordinarily this community has purchased vehicles outright. We're leasing these at a 4.7% interest rate from the Georgia Municipal Association. I'm sorry, lease purchasing. Financing, I'm sorry. Let me clarify, financing.
Good.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, council approval on the renaming of Parks and Recreation Division to Grounds Maintenance Division.
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that is Councilman Mears. Any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So we're gonna go back to the consent items that were removed. Item 11, council approval to purchase 18 additional security cameras. Is there a motion to approve this item with the authorization for the city manager to appropriate funds if necessary?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, item 13, council approval to purchase a fire alarm system and installation at the police department and to authorize the city manager to appropriate funds if necessary.
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. The council approval to purchase a 2025 Chevy Tahoe from Hardy Chevrolet for the Code Compliance Department. Which one? That's what I thought. Where is it? What number? That's number 7. Okay. Council approval for the purchase of a 2025 Chevy Tahoe for Public Works. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So move.
Let's
Second.
Councilwoman James, there's a second by Councilwoman Wells. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there a motion to approve a $25,000 request regarding repairs to the police department's building due to flooding?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then council approval on a facility usage request by YTAC Yielding to Achieve Christianity for a community gala on October 26th.
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Butler, if we could just add the conditions mentioned by staff with the requirement that they provide a certificate of insurance listing the city of Forest Park as additional insured, $1 million aggregate.
All right, thank you. Motion would include said statement. Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Akins Wells.
I abstain.
Councilmember Mears.
Ma'am.
All right, closing comments by the governing body. Councilwoman James.
Thank you all so much for coming out. Congratulations to Mr. Jinx on his retirement, and I wish you nothing but success and hope to see you on Friday. Want to remind everyone of the ward meeting that I host every third Thursday of the month. The September meeting that was hosted by Mayor Butler. You did a great job. I watched the video.
Thank you.
Is out there, and I have to tell Miss Lewis, I'm gonna have to make it up to her. She was so happy with the way Mayor introduced her. I'm not eloquent with those kind of words, so but I'm gonna work on it. But thank you all so much. But please, if you're available on the third Thursdays of every month at 696 Main Street, which is the Leonard Hartsfield Community Center, we host a ward meeting at 5 o'clock on those days. I also want to say thank you to Director Walker for the block party that he hosted, final block party in Ward 1. Very nice turnout. We're looking forward to even great things in code enforcement. So thank you so much for what you do. And also to Miss Franklin, I was able to go and see her floors. And so I'm so excited about the home program for those of you that are taking advantage of the home program. And it just does my heart good to see that we were able to allocate monies for our seniors to get some improvements done to their homes. So this is just great. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming today and bearing with us on that long agenda. And I just want to say I'm really happy for the hometown hero, Councilwoman Wells. That's a dope thing to do, and recognizing our people in our community. So Mr. Jinx, thank you for everything that you do, from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot. And I just looking at it in hindsight, I just remember some of our seniors that don't have that, that benefit or can't get to that, or even, afford to cut their grass. So thank you for that. Yeah, other than that, Bobby, just thank you so much for everything, Director Jinx. We're gonna miss you, but I'm excited about the next step in your life. You're somebody that has, every time I talk to you, you just work a lot. You've done a lot for us, and I think you put our city as a priority for a long time. So I'm happy for you and the next steps that you'll be taking with your family, and just enjoy life. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I saw a thing today, a message, and it's like 100 years from now, it doesn't matter what you own or what you have, nobody's even gonna remember you. So just really focus in on creating memories with your loved ones and living life, because sometimes we overwork ourselves to pay for things that we might not even have, that somebody might not even value as much as we do. So with that being said, thank you so much for everything. If anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, Mr. Ibanez well, maybe we can get some answers to this question, because I know it's been kind of put out there for a while now as far as the bike lanes. Like, have we looked into it to see what the cost would be, or, like, where are we with that? Because I feel like it's needed, and I appreciate you for bringing that back up to our attention. Mr. Mr. Jinx, thank you. I'm sorry. I interrupted y'all. No, I just truly from the bottom of my heart want to say thank you for all of the years you have given the city of Forest Park. You spent more time with the city of Forest Park than you have your own family. And so just thank you so much for all that you've done, all that you have contributed. And I wish you nothing but the best and blessings from here on out. Thank you so much. And I will see you on Friday. And also just to add, like this was his first job and his only job. So you were really dedicated to the city of Forest Park, and we thank you so much, Mr. Jinks. The police department. I just want to say thank you again. I kind of, I don't think I've ever given the police department this many kudos, but I really just, I love that initiative, what are the guys that be out on the impact team, like they really make an impact. And I know I spoke freely when we were getting the complaints about the police department. So I just want to make sure I do the same thing, when we're getting kudos to our police department. So thank you, Chief, because it starts and ends with the leadership. So I appreciate you for everything that you do and everything that you all give to our community. And Miss Dorothy Roper Jackson, that's a lot of name. I had to focus. I really just want to say thank you again, because our kids, like Councilman Gutierrez said, is our future. And so just to let them know that there is a way out. If you decide to get in trouble, the city of Forest Park is willing to work with you. So I just really appreciate you for that. Wednesday. So the kids are out of school, and I'm always trying to figure out how to give back to our community. So we will have another free event. We're having movie in the park for the kids from 5 to 9 on Wednesday. At the park, we'll have free hot dogs, chips, and drinks for the kids. So you all come out, bring the kids out to come and watch a movie with Councilman Wells in the park. And Mr. Finch, I just want to say thank you so much again for everything that you do. You're over there just laughing. You so crazy. For everything that you do, like I truly, truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you so much. And you all have a good night.
Councilman Mears.
Yes, ma'am. I want to amplify on Mr. Councilman Wells about Bobby Jinks. Bobby Jinks has given his heart and soul to the city ever since he was a boy. And I think he's done a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job to make Forest Park what it is today. I want to thank him personally from my heart because I think he's done a wonderful job, Bobby. And I want to commend the fire, public works, police. Everybody here does not know how fortunate we are to have a team that works in the way that they do for our protection and beauty in the parks and different parts of the city. So I want to commend them and thank them. And I got to commend Hooper back there in the back. Can you wave your hand? Mr. Finch? Mr. Finch is holding down the fort on the edge. Thank you, Mr. Finch, for coming every time. He's steady Eddie. Thank you.
Mayor Butler,
Yeah.
would you mind if I address one thing per the request of council with regards to public comments?
Mhm.
And we've addressed this in email. The majority of the roads that you would put bike lanes on in this city, the roads are way too narrow to do it. And so if you wanted to go out on state routes, that would require approval for GDOT. And based upon Forest Park having so many arterial roads running through this community, the chances of them doing it would be slim to none because it wouldn't be safe. We can make a concerted effort into looking at other ways, but from the roads that I've seen and having experience with bike lanes, you need more wider roads to put bike lanes because it's an actual dedicated lane where traffic still goes. And our roads, unfortunately, and you find that in towns south of Atlanta, the roads are too small, too short to do. And I just wanted to thank you. I will say that the Planning and Community Development Department, as well as this governing body, has been working on the Model Mile, which would connect eventually all the way up to, what is it called? The Beltline. And so the first phase of it would run back around the Aerotropolis district, but that would be an opportunity for additional trails alongside some of our major thoroughfares, maybe not in our local neighborhoods, but we definitely encourage bike riding. And so if Mr. Albanese would like to bring us a bike, we'll go for a ride and look at, the city from the viewpoint of the bicycle, just seeing what are some things that we can do to improve just the diverse transit options in this community. But the bike lanes as a standalone, I don't think it'll ever work, but we can check into it.
All right, thank you. I echo the sentiments of my colleagues and thank everyone for coming out. I want to remind everyone that this Thursday is the 4th annual State of the City Address at Living Faith Tabernacle. And it starts at 7 p.m. And then this Friday is Blues on Main, and it is from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so I hope to see you all there. And so we do have an executive session item or two to discuss. So I'm going to ask for a motion to recess and enter into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, or legal matters.
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Muir. executive session and reconvene into our regular meeting. That was Councilwoman James, there a second? Second. That was Councilwoman Wells, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you. Now, is there a motion to approve the general release and indemnification agreement relating to 5302 Lee Circle and to authorize mayor to execute the same? That was Councilwoman James, second by Councilwoman Wells, all in favor? And now we are adjourned.
No, we're not.
Oh. Wants to say.
Yes. No, I really just want to understand that policy because I don't think it's fair for employees that were terminated because of something that happened outside of here that had absolutely nothing to do with their job to not be able to have the opportunity to come back and they're a resident of Forest Park. So that policy just means that nobody is eligible to be rehired, right?
If they voluntarily resign or if there was like layoffs, then they could work with that. But I think we have to draw the line somewhere because then if we allowed every person that was terminated to come in and say, well, I was terminated unfairly, then no, every person's gonna say that. So if they failed to follow the city's process and appeal their termination, then that's them accepting their termination.
Well, see, that's kind of what I'm saying. So if the people that you're appealing to is on this person's side, like if it's the director and the city manager, then who are you appealing to? So it's a lose-lose situation. So it shouldn't be, and I'm speaking of Jose. I don't know if you all know Jose. Oh, well, Jeremiah.
That's a very common name.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
I mean,
What's your middle name?
Yeah.
I'm just saying like that, it's just not fair. It's not fair for something, if someone goes out and they work for the city and they get in trouble in Atlanta and it has not been investigated and the city hasn't done nothing, they shouldn't lose their job in Forest Park because of that, and that's what happened. And so that's what I'm saying, like, we need to, like, it's just not fair. That's not fair.
And so to add some context, there have been several employees.
To discuss the details.
I'm
Oh.
gonna keep it high level. There have been several employees, not since I've been here, that worked under me, that have said they want to come back. Well, the departments always share, well, this person is good, this person is not good. So we had a situation to where there's been an employee in the pipeline. Actually, the employee came and met with me and I didn't know the circumstances, didn't know any of it. And I said, well, you just need to go talk to that department and have them handle it. And so they did go talk to the department. The department interviewed them. And then it got realized that the employee was terminated. And so based upon them having a no rehire on their personnel file, we couldn't rehire them.
Well,
I mean, I agree that we need to keep that stance because, like you said, there has been people in the past that have come, people even have called me. And I said, well, it's part of the policy. You can't come back, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. And I think we need to be firm on that decision and not.
So when
waver.
you have an employee, that's crazy, but okay, yeah, okay.
Now,
crazy.
there is a caveat, and I would have to search to when the personnel policy was redone, but it talks about employees that have been incarcerated, right? Based upon a charge. What happens to their job status at that point? Because it's a difference in incarceration and the case being a disposition on the case. And so I don't know if in any of these scenarios, if the employee was terminated based upon being incarcerated and what happened, or if he was placed on some type of a leave and the city got his disposition and then they terminated. I don't know
No, that ain't what happened.
he got fired when he got the charge.
No, he got fired when he was arrested a few days later, and he was arrested by Forest Park Police Department. But that did not happen, and because the chief was serving as the city manager at the same time, he fired him. So I just don't think that's a conflict, like but okay.
Oh, if city manager fire you, who do you appeal to?
That's one of the issues that, we're gonna be
Fix it.
discussing or whether amending. Because right now, if you just for the city manager, my suggestion would be to appoint, like an independent third party or.
Or an employee committee? Or no, that's too much pressure on our own people.
What about our personnel attorneys?
You know,
Yeah,
that's
boards and city.
You can't afford to hire somebody back that's got a file against the city and the job. Give them a second chance to get at you again. I mean, there's gotta be stipulations and reasonings why to keep them out. I mean, I'm sure we got plenty of people that's needs a second chance, but when you get somebody to give you a friggin' problem with the city against the city, they're subject to do it again. So you gotta have some way to protect the city with what's going on and give everybody the right that's got left good, wants to come back, that's fine, but if you've been fired for cause,
But that's not for cause, that's personal time.
Well, that's like one
That means
specific
one
case. It's an
officer-
outlier out of many. So this case was kind of like, we weren't doing that with everybody. It seems to have been like a one person thing, right? So I just think we need to, I mean, I guess we want to create I guess, I don't know the English word, but like the same thing for everybody.
Objective standard instead of subjective. So subjective, you'd be looking at case by case. But objective, that's why you're applying it evenly, so you're not giving
Being
someone,
biased.
there's no bias in its application.
Mhm.
So there would be some that fall between the cracks, but there's more that don't. If that makes sense.
Okay, and this is my last question, because I'm ready to go. Oh.
You're the reason why we-
I mean, I know, because I wanted to understand it and know what I'm voting on. So that means if one of our police officers go into another city, or even this city, and he say something to another officer, and they say, oh, that's disorderly conduct, and so they lock them up. That's not a reason for them to lose their job.
And so that's what I was referencing, how I can't tell you when the current policy was adopted as it relates to what happens when employees are incarcerated. We just had it happen this weekend. And so the employee was placed on leave. Well, because you gotta look at the crux of the
Isn't
case.
there, well, and I don't know if what you're describing now is the same as what Councilman Wells was just talking about with the officer, but don't they have their own?
It's not an officer that was arrested.
Don't they have their own, code of conduct?
Well, yeah, for the police, but this employee is not a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
They should have one too. Code of conduct for their job.
But I think where it goes to, and we're gonna have this conversation with our personnel attorneys tomorrow, just because somebody is arrested and charged, it doesn't mean that they have been found guilty.
Okay.
And that's the issue that I'm having. Why is the employee on leave? Like what governs that?
Right.
If the policy is specific, what charge is egregious enough to be terminated immediately? Because you see, well, moral turpitude, that's one. But in this instance, it wasn't moral turpitude. Now, if a police officer gets arrested for something with a gun or something with a vehicle, and it's egregious enough to where they can't drive a city car, but they're gonna be put on light duty, and or terminated based upon how egregious the case may be. But I think we have to define that a little more clear within that policy, because it is not clear. Because I know since I've been here, we've had at least 2 instances to where employees have been arrested, but it doesn't mean that they are guilty. And especially when you have the domestic disputes between live-ins.
Well, if they get arrested
Yeah.
for something that's not pertaining to their job shouldn't be in jeopardy anyway.
Hello, that's my
Well,
point.
Unless it incorporates the city and something the city does. You know what I'm saying? I can go home and beat my old lady. I don't mean.
No,
Okay.
You burnt my eggs. Get her, man.
That's my entire point. If it's not related to their job, why are they being terminated and not eligible for rehire? It doesn't make sense. And if we're gonna adopt policies, the policies need to make sense. And that one we just adopted made absolutely no sense, because we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. That's all.
And in the specific instance, from what I know, the fear of the legal counsel is valid. The fear is if you begin to hire employees that have been termed, then you do it for one, you got to do it for all, or you're going to subject yourself to a lawsuit. The other side of that equation is the particular incident that I think Ms. Wells is mentioning, that in the particular apartment that this employee was in is the department that won't him back because they said he was a great employee. But there was an arrest that was made after work hours. And the arrest was busting out a window. Busting.
Was it no one?
Yeah.
Was he playing baseball?
Okay, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
But I think it's,
Once we clarify the policy about outside arrests or what of specific crimes that would warrant being placed on admin leave versus terminated,
yeah.
that would solve the problem that you're talking about with the rehire.
But we
So
don't have to make it retroactively applicable. It could
No.
be from that
that
date
didn't-
approved moving forward.
I just wanted to make
That's
that.
good
clear.
to me. Yeah. That's the, and I don't know how you, you want to adjourn?
Meeting adjourned.
I don't know how you get there.